2024 is Olympics year. Paris 2024 will showcase some of the finest things that we have seen in the world of sports. 3 years ago, yes, time has really flown by. 3 years ago, we saw India step up on the global stage with a gold in Tokyo thanks to Neeraj Chopra. Now, in 2024, the major focus that will be there not just for athletics, but also for hockey. The India men's team have secured direct qualification for Paris 2024 because of the gold medal that they secured in Guangzhou. The India women's team though, they have to go through a very circular path. They have to go through a very tricky path in order to qualify for the Paris Olympics 2024. And if you have to look at it, the first major sporting event that you've got in January 2024 is the FIH Hockey Olympic Qualifiers, which is going to be held for the women's team. Now remember, India had a chance, even the women's team had a golden chance to ensure that they secured the direct entry to Paris by winning the gold in the Asian Games. But they could not win it. And because of this now, there are two major Olympic qualifying events, one in Valencia and one in Ranchi. India are in the Ranchi leg, and this is the stakes that is there for them. They have to ensure that certain things work in their favor and that they make it to Paris. But how will they do it? What is the format of the FIH Hockey Olympic Qualifiers? What are the venues, the dates? I will give you all in this video. And what are the teams that they really need to look out for? Because there are 3 teams in here, maybe 4, who can pose India a major threat in their quest for Olympic qualification. Remember, this Olympic qualification, if they make it, and they make it into Paris 2024, it represents a turning point for head coach Yannick Schuppmann. Because remember, Schuppmann has been in charge ever since 2019, and now this is the culmination of what might happen. So, if you look at it, the Olympic qualifiers that will be played in Ranchi start from tomorrow, January 13th. January 13th to January 19th are very important dates for the India women's hockey team, because remember, if they do not do well in the Olympic qualifiers, all the hard work that they did from 2016 onwards until 2023 will all go waste. Because not qualifying for the Olympics is going to be a major blot, and India women's hockey team could regress. That's the problem. Big event for the India women's team. They are eyeing a 3rd straight Olympic qualification. Remember, for the first time in history, in 2016, the India women's team qualified for the Olympics. In 2020, they were within minutes of securing a historic medal in Tokyo, but they lost to Great Britain. And now they will want to go for Paris 2024. Now in 2020, as I had said, in the Tokyo Olympics, 4th place, you saw the tears, the inspirational speech that the Prime Minister gave to the entire team. You all saw how it panned out, and it was really heartbreaking. They were within minutes of securing the medal, but they lost to Great Britain. Now, mark these dates down in your calendar, because this is going to be a very important next 3-4 days for the India women's team. They will open their campaign against the USA on Jan 13th at Ranchi. All the games will take place at 7:30 p.m. IST. Remember, the USA were the team that were on the cusp of knocking India out in 2019. There was a 2-legged qualification at that time for the Tokyo Olympics in 2020. India had won the first leg 5-1, but in the second leg, USA were leading 4-0. And remember, because if you look at it, India were on the cusp of elimination. It needed Rani Rampal to ensure that they got through. They got the goal 6-5. India had secured the qualification. So USA is going to be a pretty tough opponent that they face. New Zealand, January 14th. They have always been tricky opponents, but in the past couple of events, if you look at it, they have gotten the wood over New Zealand, the Black Sticks for that matter. So, looking at how the situation is with New Zealand, India will be very wary of the fact that USA and New Zealand are their 2 most trickier opponents in this group. They will take on Italy, January 16th, the less fancied of the groups, but remember, USA and New Zealand, these are the 2 most important teams in that. And heading into the Olympic qualifiers, if you look at it, their form has been patchy. They might have beaten the Czech Republic 2-0, but they lost 2-4 to Germany. And remember, Germany is going to be one of the teams that will really test India because they have always had the better head-to-head record against them. So remember, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium are all benefiting from a robust league structure. In India, there is no league structure as such, which is why there has been calls to ensure that India starts the Pro League all over again here. Remember, there was a tournament that was held in 2014-15, but because of that, the Super League and all that, it just did not get backing. That's why India's domestic talent has lagged behind. Now, why are India playing this tournament in the first place? Why aren't the men playing? Remember, the men's team qualified directly to Paris Olympics because they had won the gold. The Olympic qualification rules state that if you win a gold medal from any of the zonal tournaments, in Asia, in India's case, it was the Asian Games, you get direct entry into Paris. That's why the India men's team got direct entry. But India's women's team secured the bronze medal. They lost in the semi-final, and that is why they could not win the gold medal, and that dented their chances of reaching Paris in a big way. So, they needed to win gold. Gold gives a direct Olympic entry because it's an Asian, because it's a zonal qualification. Second time India have played qualifiers in 2020, as I mentioned previously, they had played the USA. They just scraped through 6-5 in a two-legged qualification event. Luckily, India managed to do that. Now, what is the format in this Olympic qualifiers? There are two groups of 4 teams each. In India's group, it is India, USA, New Zealand and Italy. In the other groups, there are the other major teams as well. Top 2 of each group enter the semi-final. But this point is the most important. Top 3 will get direct entry. So, whoever reaches the final, they have secured direct entry. The losing semi-finalists then will play a bronze medal playoff. Whoever wins the bronze, they will get direct qualification. So, that is why India has to finish in the top 3. If they don't, it's an abject failure. No Olympics if team not in top 3. This is the problem, because parallelly, if you look at it, not just Ranchi, there are 8 further teams who are playing in Valencia, same time from 13th to 19th. So, 6 teams will qualify for the Olympics directly in that situation. So, if India cannot gain entry, then their Olympic chances will take a massive hit. So, they have to finish in the top 3. So, as mentioned, top 2 from each group enter the semi-finals. Whoever reaches the final gets an automatic entry. Losing semi-finals will play a bronze medal playoff. Whoever wins the bronze gets through. Now, heading into this Olympic qualifiers, how has the India women's hockey team form been? Again, it's been mixed. They won the Asian Champions Trophy by beating Japan. But remember, in the Asian Games, in the semi-final stage, they lost out and they had to settle for bronze. Now, if you look at in this particular scenario, whoever they meet, in 2 matches itself, USA and New Zealand are tough teams. Japan and Germany, they may have beaten Japan in the past, but remember, pressure can do strange things to you, and that's why 4 teams, New Zealand, Germany, Japan, USA, they are the toughest. But looking at the way how the India women's team has been going about in this past 6 months, their chances are actually pretty high. So, they can qualify for the final, but then if they meet Germany there, then they will face an uphill task. So, that's why India's chances of qualification are pretty high. They just have to win the semi-final and then they will secure the Olympic quota. So, it's quite high, the confidence is quite high, because if you look at the players that I'm about to mention who are in top form at this point in time, Salima Tete and Sangeeta Kumari, both of them were in top form in the Women's Asian Champions Trophy, and because of that, they will be the key in ensuring that India makes a great start in the Olympic qualifiers. Then there is Navneet Kaur and their inspirational goalkeeper captain Savita Punia. Now remember, Vandana Kataria is also coming out of an injury, and that is why whether she will be at her full tilt, we don't know. So that's why Vandana Kataria is also there, but these 4 players, Salima Tete in particular, Sangeeta Kumari, Navneet Kaur, Savita Punia, all these 4 are really going to be the key if India has to secure the Olympic quota there. So, Looking ahead from 13th to 19th, 6 crucial days in India women's hockey. Because remember, 2016 Rio, they qualified for the first time. 2020, they finished in 4th. But ever since then, if you look at it, the progression should be upwards, but it has not been. In the World Cup, they finished 9th. Then if you look at it in the Commonwealth Games also, they struggled. Asiad, they've had to settle for bronze. So that is why the women's team really have to shape up now if they have to get the direct entry to Paris. This is the last chance. Top 3, if you finish in that, you are assured of a Paris Olympic quota. But if you don't, it will be 10 steps back for the India women's hockey team. Because remember, Yannick Schupman and her legacy will be defined by what happens in these 6 days in Ranchi. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live. And don't forget, we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Bye-bye.